My dad's watching me from the window. Yeah, so my name is Mills. I make videos about living abroad in the Dominican Republic and other stuff, but mostly that. And yeah, welcome back to my channel. Covering the case that happened at the very beginning of November, end of October, and it's the case of Yonay, and she was found murdered. So I'm going to cover that a little bit and what happened. It wasn't in the news as much as the Emely Peguero case, and you'll find out why, but it still is a relevant case, of course, and a lot of people are still talking about it. So I did a bunch of research and I will present the facts to you right now. Before we begin, if you can hit subscribe, that would be amazing. I really want to get to 500 subscribers, so we're almost 100 away. So just take a second and hit subscribe. That would be awesome. Thank you. And just disclaimer before I start, there is some information on this that I'm not 100% sure on, but I've done a bunch of research, and these facts are the most, some will say when it's like speculation or rumored, but most of these are the best facts that I could find on this case. Like I said, it wasn't as covered as the Emely case, but I'll do what I can and I'll try to disclose when it's something that I'm not sure is positive. Also, I don't mean any hate or judgment or anything on anyone that I'm talking about. I'm just trying to present the story to you. So Yonay Rosario, she, from what I've seen, mostly goes by Yonay, so that's what I'm going to call her for this video. She lived near Sosua, and if you don't know, Sosua is a beach town in the Dominican Republic. It's on the north coast, and it is known for being a little bit of a party scene, I guess. There's a lot of bars and restaurants. A lot of expats live there, along with Cabarete. So it's only about 30 minutes away from Cabarete. Like, Cabarete's here, Sosua's here. So it's really easy to get from one place to the other. It's a huge vacation spot. I know a lot of people that just vacation there. The beach is really pretty, but it does have a reputation of being a little bit seedy, I guess is the right word. There is a lot of prostitution that goes on there. It's definitely not the only thing that happens, of course. Like I said, expats live there, Dominicans live there, but just when it gets to a certain hour of the night, you can see a lot of people wandering around on the street, and a lot of foreigners maybe are going down to visit for certain reasons, but I don't want to say everyone. So Sosua does have a little bit of a reputation. If you want, you can Google it and research it more. I've been there, of course, and I've never stayed the night there, but the beach is really pretty. It's cool to walk around, but I have heard stories of the strip late at night, and that's what I'll say about that. Yonay lived near Sosua, near a little colmado, like a little store. Here's a picture of the store, and she lived right near this. And she lived with her sister and her 4 children, Yonay's 4 children. So she was a mother, and she was 29 years old. So her job was, one of her jobs, I don't know if she had a day job, but she did prostitute herself some nights in Sosua. So that's not uncommon. A lot of girls do that. I'm not judging at all, because I know through living in the DR that wages are terribly low. Family situations can be really bad, and unfortunately that's just a way that a lot of girls are able to make money. So on Halloween weekend of October 2018, so this just happened a couple months ago, Yonay was out on the strip of Sosua, and she had a system. This is a rumor. What I've heard is that she had a system in place with her husband, who was kind of pimping her out, which again isn't too uncommon in some families that I have heard. If there is a woman who's able and willing, one of the male family members might pimp them out or something like that, negotiate kind of deals, and that's a way that the family makes money. So what I've heard is that her husband did this, and they had a system where Yonay would text her husband on WhatsApp every 30 minutes to just give an update and let him know that everything was okay, that she was safe, and just kind of what was happening, where she was, etc. So she was out on Sunday. So this was Sunday, October 28th. On Monday, the 29th, her sister went to the police and said that Yonay was missing and she couldn't find her. She hadn't heard from her, and she was getting worried, and her husband hadn't heard from her either. And I'm not sure how involved her husband was, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But her sister went to the police, said that she couldn't find Yonay, hasn't heard from her, she was worried, and the police basically said to come back in 24 hours because I'm pretty sure the rule there is that a person has to be missing for a certain amount of hours to be considered missing. Like here in the United States, I believe we have that as well. So her sister left. She went back the next day and said that she still can't find her sister, and this was very odd for her. Like I said, they had the system in place, they lived together. So this is when people started to get worried and the police started to investigate where Yonay was, what might have happened to her. They started looking at tapes from the Sunday night when she was in Sosua. So the police found this tape of Yonay walking on Pedro Clisante, which is kind of just like a main strip in Sosua. And they also have video footage of her alive in a club, kind of like it's called Centro de Diversión. It's like it's basically like a strip club. It's like a bar club, and then I'm pretty sure there's some stripping-ish things going on, correct me if I'm wrong. And they have footage of her there. She was with a man on the street and in the bar, and they found out that that man was a Nigerian-born American citizen, and this man's name is Oluseye. I'm not really sure. It's Oluseye. His last name is Adesegun. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. I'm going to call him Oluseye, and I'm sorry if that's the incorrect pronunciation. I couldn't really find a great one. He is Nigerian born, like I said, an American citizen, and this is because he fought in the Iraqi war, so he became an American citizen and he had an American passport. Police immediately became suspicious of Oluseye because he was the last person seen with her and the last person that they can see in the bar and on the street walking with him. So in that video you can see that she's wearing a white shirt and it looks like a black skirt and kind of sandals, but they couldn't find her. They just knew kind of where to begin, so they took Oluseye in for questioning, and it is rumored that he confessed and said that he did something to her because the police beat him basically into a confession. And in the DR, I'm pretty sure they can't use police confessions in court. You can only use it in front of a judge or a lawyer, so they couldn't use that, but it was kind of helpful, I would say. Obviously it was achieved in not the best circumstances, so I can see why it's not technically permissible in court. They're looking for her, can't find her. Remember, this is now Tuesday when the sister went back to the police and said she's still missing, and then they went and they arrested Oluseye and they took him in, beat him, got his confession that he did something to her. So they went back to the hotel that he was staying at, and it was the Alicia Beach Hotel. This is a picture of the hotel, and it's right near kind of the strip of Sosua, the main part, and they got the footage from the hotel. Now I'm going to show you the video right now of what they found. So this video shows Oluseye carrying Yonay in his arms out of the front door. You can see a man leave before him, and he opens the door seemingly for Oluseye to carry this woman's body out in his arms, and they're walking right past the front desk. As you can see, Yonay doesn't look awake, at least, and it wasn't really determined even now if she was alive or if she was already dead in this video and he was carrying her out. But obviously this is extremely incriminating, and when they saw this video, that's when they were like, okay, this guy obviously knows what happened to her. It seems to be that Oluseye told the guy at the front desk that she passed out from drinking and was just unconscious, and he was going to go do something, help her, take her somewhere. But I know that he did tell the front desk guy that she was just, it was from drinking. The police also arrested the guy, I think from the hotel, and the one that opened the door and was in front of Oluseye, and we're questioning him. He's not identified right now, but they were trying to figure out if he was an accomplice or what was going on and why he was involved, why he was helping. So I'm actually unsure if Olusay led the police to Yonay's body or if someone had just come across the body. It's a little bit unclear. But on Thursday, November 1st, 2018, a body was found about 3.5 miles east of Cabarete, and it was confirmed to be the body of Yonay. Now, Sosua and Cabarete are very close to each other, like I said, so it was presumed that Olusay transported her body when he was carrying her out of the hotel to that spot in Cabarete, some miles away. They found her off the main road, kind of in between some bushes, and it was just her body. What was interesting about it was in the video of Olusay leaving the hotel, you can see him holding her and wearing the same clothes as she was wearing earlier that evening that you can see on the surveillance videos of them on the strip. So it's kind of odd that they found the body in the bushes and her pants were pulled down on her waist, kind of exposing her, and her shirt was up. So I don't really know why the clothes were in that condition, but they also found that her body had been covered with vinegar, and that is presumed to be to hide the smell of her body decomposing if it had kind of gotten to that point. The doctor that examined her body and did the autopsy found that she had broken nails and she had defense wounds, which obviously means that she was fighting back at some point. Her just passing out from drinking and then dying, because that does happen. People drink so much and then pass out and don't wake up, unfortunately, but they're saying these defense wounds, it doesn't look like it was an accident. And the cause of death was ruled as strangulation. There were marks all over her neck. There were also injuries to her head, kind of like blunt force trauma. So her body was very bruised, a lot of marks on it, scratches, and it basically, she was beaten. So that night a lot of people were kind of crowding around the police station as well as the hotel, and I wouldn't say protesting, but there were a lot of women there and they were kind of just wanting justice for Yonay. But after this night, it wasn't really super tense in the area from what I've heard. There were obviously other women who worked in the same fields that were saying things like to be careful and to avoid men like that and whatnot, but otherwise it wasn't like a huge riot in the street type of situation. And I think a lot of people were just kind of creating fear for Americans by saying that. That is what I have gathered from my research. So the police start kind of asking around town, and they find out, and several women came forward, that they had experiences with Olusay as well, and he was super aggressive. He liked to choke them. He would just be like angry and just kind of scary. So they would avoid him and not work with him, not choose him, So that obviously raised flags. They found that last February 2018 that he actually had a protective order against him from one lady. She was sleeping with him and he started to get really aggressive and started choking her, and she said that she would have died except that her friend was there and stopped him. So she went to the police and they put a protective order against Olusay. I'm not sure how protective those are. It seems like he was just kind of like going on with his life after that anyway. But it does point to the fact that he had a history of violence and a rumor around, or a reputation around town of being aggressive. There are also rumors that he was big into drugs. I'm not positive, but it was rumored from other prostitutes that he did use drugs and he did choke people and get aggressive. Other people around the town, it's not like he had like a massive reputation around town where he would be walking around, people would be like, stay away from that guy. It was to the point where amongst the other working women sometimes share stories and who to look out for, and his name came up several times. It seemed like his reputation was mostly with the women that he encountered. I'm so sorry, my sprinklers are on right now. Hopefully they'll turn off. Hopefully they're not too loud. I'm so sorry.
Abogado, please. Abogado, please. I need abogado. Abogado, please. Abogado. I need abogado. Abogado, please. U.S. military. Yo, what's up, man? Yo, what's up? What's up, man? Hey, yo. Abogado!
So in this video, this is after Olusei is in custody. He's been in jail, and he is saying abogado, which means lawyer, and he just keeps saying abogado, abogado. He wants a lawyer. Seems like he's not fluent in Spanish, but he's trying to communicate with the guards that he wants a lawyer. And he did say U.S. military, and when I was first watching it, I thought he just meant like he wants to talk to the U.S. military or someone, like the highest up person. But then I read that he fought in the Iraqi war, so maybe he was saying I'm U.S. military, and some military members have an agreement with the U.S. where local countries can't prosecute them, it seems. So maybe he was saying like, I'm U.S. military, you can't treat me like this. I'm not sure. He looked really scared, and that's because jail is not a fun place to be anywhere, but especially in the DR. It's dangerous, and people were probably maybe out to get him, but definitely probably aggressive, and you can see that he was scared. So after a delay of a week or two because they couldn't find an English translator, they sentenced Olusei to 1 year in protective custody. So that won't be in La Victoria, that will be in another jail, and he will have to wait there until the trial. That's what he wanted. That's good for him, because I don't think he would have lived to the trial in the other jail in La Victoria. He also did file an appeal with the magistrate, and he said that his confession was coerced because he was beat by the police. Unfortunately for him, they do have the evidence of him carrying the body out on camera, so I'm not really sure how it's going to work out for him, but I'm guessing it won't be great. Hopefully he gets sentenced aggressively. In my opinion, it seems like he didn't really give any sense of care towards her and disposed of the body and went back to the hotel, and I don't know what he was thinking, but I don't know, based on his actions, I don't know, he just made a really dumb decision to go as far as like covering up her body and dumping her in the woods and everything. Like I said, I've seen different things online, different reactions, some of them from other foreign men saying like, oh man, now I can't come to the DR for my vacation, and I can't do what I do in Sosua because they're going to crack down on it a lot. I think that was like something that spread amongst a group of men, because from what I've heard, it wasn't like let's kill every foreign man in revenge or let's avoid them forever. It was just like everyone's really upset that this happened to Yonay. On the other end, I've seen, okay, good, Sosua is going to change for the better now if they crack down on these things, because right now it has a reputation of being really seedy, and a lot of families don't even want to spend time there at night. Some people that unfortunately I have seen saying things like, you know, well, she was just a prostitute, so it's okay. It's not as like sad as another case because she basically put herself in that position. And to me, I mean, a human life is a human life, and regardless of your profession, even a prostitute, you're not asking for someone to kill you. That's just, obviously that's not okay. It makes me sad that you can weigh the worth of one human life over another. To me, that you can't. And unfortunately, Yonay, as I said, left 4 children behind. I'm not sure how involved her husband was because they keep referring to the kids as orphans now. Maybe he wasn't the father, or maybe there's something that I'm missing with the husband, or not husband at all. And of course, everyone's just heartbroken at the way she was treated, the way her body was dumped, the fact that she had all these self-defense wounds as well. Like, she was obviously fighting for her life, and that she was a mother, and a life that was taken at only 29 years old. That's very young. So yeah, it's just weird that he didn't try to flee, or at least like leave the town or the hotel or something, because maybe the protective order wouldn't have let him leave the country. But a lot of people are saying it's weird that he didn't try to leave the town at least and go to Santo Domingo. But I think it's better that he didn't, because, I mean, the police found him right away. They caught him. They were able to solve this case very quickly and get the right man. And now we'll just wait a year or so until the trial occurs, and hopefully he's sentenced appropriately to what he did. People are also saying they don't know why he just didn't leave her in the room and say she passed out from drinking and just leave, and say he didn't know what condition she was in when he left. I mean, I'm not saying that's okay, but it's just like I don't know, he just like blatantly disregarded carrying her to the woods and stuff, and pouring vinegar on her body. I don't know. So these are most of the facts that I could find about this case. I don't want to put my opinion too much. I will say that it was very sad for me to see that they caught this on video with him just carrying her body like that. That's really heartbreaking. Not sure what result will come from this. Please, I would love to hear your comments below. If you live in Sosua or know more about this case than I do, comment below what you have found out, what's going on in the city. What do you think? Do you have any more facts about this case that I missed? I tried to get all of the basics that I could. And if there are any other cases that are related to this that you want to talk about, feel free to comment below, or that you would like me to cover. I would love for you to give me more ideas of cases to research and do videos about. I appreciate you watching the whole video up until this point. If you have, if you can subscribe, if you like the content, I would be very grateful for that. Thank you. And I will be making another video very soon, so stay tuned. All right, thanks. Bye, guys.